us in so many ways.
There ain't no stopping me.
Hello and welcome to First Take. I am Kimberly A. Martin, and I am joined by three lovely gentlemen, Kevin Clark, Louis Riddick, and Christopher Mad Dog
Kimberly.
Russo.
Kevin.
Hello. How are you guys?
Doing great.
Okay, I need a little bit more
How
enthusiasm.
are you doing?
I'm good. I'm happy to be here, and I'm happy.
Big seat. You will succeed.
Thank you, Mad Dog.
You're welcome.
I'm happy to be here, and I'm happy to talk about football, guys. So the NFL Top 100 Players rankings continue to filter out, and Patrick Mahomes' place on the list may be surprising to some. The three-time Super Bowl champion came in at 18 on the list, with the reasoning being, and I quote, "Statistically speaking, Mahomes had his worst season since becoming the Chiefs starter in 2018, which has translated to his lowest ranking amid his 8th season on the list." End quote. Do you guys think that Mahomes can lead the Chiefs on a deep playoff run? I'll start with you, Matt.
Okay, well, first off, I don't like these lists with the quarterbacks at 18, because if I asked you right now, would you take Mahomes at number one, you take him. So to me, having in the 18, that means you take 17 players if you're picking a team over the quarterback. So that's number one. I don't like that. I think, Louis, you and I agree. Number two, I'm going to give him a little pass for last year. Okay, he got hurt. No, the season was over when he got hurt, but he got hurt. Didn't have a lot of weapons. They were due to have a little bit of a down year. They lost a lot of close games, which began in the week one, and they played the game in where they played down in Brazil when Herbert had the big run and they lost a close game. Kind of spiraled from there. I'm expecting Mahomes got a chip on his shoulder. He's got something to prove, and that's dangerous, giving a quarterback this good something to prove. I'm expecting a big year from Mahomes, and if you told me right now that the Chiefs minimum went to the AFC Championship game, I would not be surprised.
No. I want to hear from Kevin, because
That's okay. I've already been told he was next. I didn't even try to start talking.
They didn't tell me. Sorry.
We will have the floor very shortly. Here's why I disagree with you. Now, first of all, I do agree these lists are mostly worthless. Once we saw Lamar Jackson at 68th, 69th, they said, okay, this list is totally illegitimate for this year. But when you look at the AFC right now, I see a few teams ahead of Kansas City, including in their own division. Here are the problems that Patrick Mahomes faces this year. Obviously, health. That is unknowable. It looks like he's full go in training camp. That's great news for football, for Chiefs fans, for the offense, all that stuff. But there was a defense last year that went from first in third down close game defense to 32nd last year. That's what happened in the fourth quarter of games last year. A running game where Andy Reid himself said defensive backs and linebackers were not even biting on play action because they didn't respect it. The lowest explosive run rate in the league. And then just getting to the passing game, which is very rarely a question, the deep ball still isn't there yet. Mahomes tried to go deeper than he had in years past. It simply didn't connect. I think he was 30th in passer rating when going 20 yards down the field. That is not the same offense we saw 4 and 5 years ago. So if you don't have that, you cannot take the top off the defense. Patrick Mahomes is the best big play quarterback I've seen in my life. And I watch a lot of NFL films. I don't think there was anybody in the 50s, 60s, 70s who did it better, okay? He is the best big play quarterback I've ever seen in my life. If he's not hitting those, everything else has to go perfect. Unfortunately, right now, everything is not going perfect for the Chiefs.
So, Lou, I want to ask you, because prior to last year, the Chiefs had made the playoffs 10 straight times. So do you think that Patrick Mahomes can lead them on a deep playoff run this year?
Yeah, I think he can. I think he will do his part. Look, I've always been one of the people who believes that QB wins shouldn't be a statistic, because the game is so interdependent and so interconnected. But you know what? Because of the notoriety that the position gets, because of the salaries that they make, we always say, look, this quarterback won the game, this quarterback didn't win the game. It's the only position that we attach team wins and losses to. And quite honestly, I think that's ridiculous, because we understand how the game really ebbs and flows, and how so many other things help determine the outcome of football games. Has Patrick Mahomes' skills declined to the point where you think he is the 18th ranked player in the NFL? Of course not. Has a lot of the circumstances and a lot of surroundings that he right now is, being subjected to, have they changed? Of course they have. It was the offensive line a problem last year? Of course it was. Was the running game a problem? Of course it was. That's exactly why they went out and got Kenneth Walker and drafted Emmett Johnson. Does he have Tyreek Hill? Does he have McCole Hardman? Does he have Travis Kelce of 5 years ago? No, he doesn't. Everything looked a lot better when he had those guys, didn't he? Of course it did. Patrick is the ultimate force multiplier, as Mike Tannenbaum likes to say. He's the ultimate. And 4 or 5 years ago, I'll tell you, when he threw the winning touchdown against San Francisco to McCole Hardman in the end zone, I remember Dan Orlovsky, when we were doing the international broadcast, with Chris Fowler, said he's the best player I've ever seen. He's still that guy, but the things around him have changed. And right now, we become prisoners of the moment with these kind of rankings, and we forget what he has done and what he still probably has a lot of runway to do.
I agree with you. I just want to bring up one counter, Doggy. So Lewis was just talking about all the things that have worked in the past for the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes still being a force multiplier. What he didn't mention, though, was the rest of the division, like the Broncos, the Chargers, like all these other teams that have also gotten better. So when we talk about a deep playoff run for the Chiefs, do you factor in the competitiveness of the division as to why the Chiefs may not have it?
And they have a tough schedule. Don't they play the NFC West? I think that division plays the NFC West, so that means they got Seattle, San Francisco, and the Rams. And they play Buffalo on Thanksgiving. they're going to have that schedule all the time.
There's a schedule. Take a look, everybody.
So that is, they're going to open up with the Broncos. The Colts are not easy. The Seahawks are sitting there. The Niners are sitting there. The Rams are sitting there. They're going to play at Seattle, at LA. So I understand that. And I look at that stretch. Lewis and I did this a couple weeks ago.
Yep.
Look at that stretch they have. Bills, Rams, Bengals, and then the Patriots, 49ers. That is a hard stretch. But I am going to go with the athlete here. Okay, if you're asking Christopher Russo what side you are taking, Lewis was a GM. Kevin's he gave you great stats, good football.
Yes,
I am going to go with the guts of the athlete. This is a guy in the prime of his career. He got hurt late in the year. He didn't have all his weapons. They bring in Walker, as you just mentioned. Yeah. He's hearing all this noise. He's not stupid. He's hearing he's 18th. He's hearing that Denver's supposed to be better and everything. He's lost a step. And I think when you do that with a guy who's this good, that is dangerous. Yeah. So I'm gonna put the chips at number 15.
Yeah, put a quick button on it, Lewis.
Yeah, to answer your question about can he lead them to a deep playoff run? Look, I think a lot of things do have to go right now. I was really kind of really going on and on about why I thought it was disrespectful for him to be ranked 18th. Now, their road to having a deep playoff run, it is markedly difficult. I mean, it is significantly difficult considering how much improvement has really happened in the AFC overall. And a lot of things have to go right for Kansas City. This offensive line has to be able to play a physical brand of football that Eric Bieniemy is going to ask them to do. Kenneth Walker is going to have to play Super Bowl caliber Kenneth Walker type of play. Emmett Johnson's going to have to be great. At the wide receiver position, have you seen the videos of Rashee Rice? Does he look healthy? No, he doesn't.
Right.
Cyrus Allen, who's a fifth-round rookie, is being counted on to really be the juice guy on the outside now. Travis Kelce, look, he's getting long in the tooth. He's not the same player. All these young guys on defense, it's going to be a tough road to hoe for them. But as far as Patrick is concerned, he will do his part.
Yeah, I think we're all in agreement that Patrick Mahomes is something special. But I do want to transition from a team like the Chiefs, who's always in playoff discussions, to a team that isn't really. The Cowboys. So the Cowboys and the Saints took competitiveness to a whole new level yesterday at their joint practice as the teams were involved in multiple brawls, including Saints tight end Brock Reichsteiner, son of WWE Hall of Famer Scott Steiner, body slamming a Cowboys player. Take a look at this. But also, take a listen to what Coach Brian Schottenheimer had to say on the scuffles.
A little chippy, not the way we like to do business. Got to be better, but I got to look at the film. We're certainly not going to take, from anybody. But again, it was chippy on both sides, and like I said, I want our guys to play on the edge without going over the edge. One guy sounds like he might have thrown a punch, and that's why he left practice.
Mad Dog, you don't take stuff from anybody. I want to know, do you like it, love it, or dislike?
To me, it's football. Hot summer day in August. Saints and the Cowboys, haven't really gone up against each other. This is the week that all these teams, Giants are with the Dolphins, they seem to get together. So instead of hitting each other, they're hitting somebody else. Who knows what happens in the heat of the moment with what people say. This one looks like it went a little too far. But to me, if this was not the Cowboys, I don't know if we'd be making such a big deal about it. I'll let you two handle it. I'm not that worked up on it.
Well, it wasn't just
leave
one.
It to the 305, but I understand
it wasn't just one. It was multiple
guys.
Yes. So what do you think?
I hate this kind of stuff.
The discussion about it or the fighting?
No, the fighting.
Oh, okay.
I hate this kind of stuff. I don't think it proves anything. I don't think it's something that shows you just necessarily, how tight a team is, how everybody has each other's back, which a lot of people kind of point to and say, look, this is just a part of football. It's hot out there. You're going against another team. It's a long, grueling day. Look.
So basically everything Mad Dog just said.
Yeah, I don't buy into anything. Because I'm going to say this. Look, I played professional football in the 90s. I played with some of the baddest dudes that this game has ever seen. Some of the toughest guys this game has ever seen. Jesse Tuggle, Scott Case, Jeff Donaldson, Eric Turner, Pepper Johnson, Carl Banks. Dudes who, when the game was being played in between the white lines, would absolutely knock your teeth out of your mouth. And that's where they dispense justice. I never saw those guys punching, pulling guys' helmets off, suplexing guys on the sideline, and then getting up like, that stuff doesn't mean, I can't even say it. That stuff doesn't mean anything. The game of football provides you plenty of opportunity to kick the living you-know-what out of someone within the context of the rules, okay? When I went to San Francisco, when I was drafted there as a rookie in 1991, I don't remember anybody talking to me about Ronnie Lott pulling off people's helmets and fighting them and punching them on the football field and doing this kind of nonsense. People knew what Ronnie Lott was all about. They knew what guys like Jeff Fuller and those guys were all about. That's what really matters to me. This kind of stuff means nothing, and quite honestly, I have no tolerance for it. I hate it.
So Kevin, I've done a lot of TV with Lou Riddick, and he's mentioned last season how the Cowboys defense, players need to show a little bit more toughness, physicality, need some dogs. Now it seems like they got some dogs at a joint practice. What do you think about it?
I don't know. In a weird way, I think if you're doing this kind of stuff, as Lewis said, you're not a dog, because you go out in September and you'd be a dog. You don't do it on August 18th. But there are a couple things I want to point out. Number one, can't throw punches. That's number one. Number two is that Scott Steiner's son, whenever he's ready, has a WWE contract ready for him. Because I don't know. I don't know if the NFL's long for him, but right now it looks like he is the part on the fighting stuff. For me, I think that the biggest thing is there's a lot of great teams that have had scuffles in training camp or in practice. The Seahawks, before the 2014 Super Bowl, punch each other in practice. During Super Bowl week, they went out and they killed the Broncos about 5 days later, okay? 2019 LSU has some of the craziest training camp fight stories in history. They went out and destroyed everybody, went 14-0, best college team of its era. So it doesn't preclude you from anything. For me, it's meaningless. So it doesn't prove that you're tough. It doesn't prove that you're cohesive. It doesn't prove that you have competitive fire. What it proves is that NFL teams have short memories. Football teams have short memories. You can go out and get in a tussle with somebody, and the next week they're your teammate, they're your brother. So to me, this borders on irrelevant.
See, you know who showed some spirit, some fire? Lou Riddick on social media. Because we saw Lou had a lot to say on social media, a lot of stuff that caught our eye. Louis, please tell us what you wrote. Please read it.
Yeah, this. I just saw a lot of stuff, Kimberly, about people saying, you know what, these joint practices should be abolished because, you know what, they're really pointless. You see all this fighting and stuff, the risk of injury. People talk about all the time about, hey, we should abolish preseason games. They're pointless. They're meaningless. Fans don't like to see them. Players don't like to play in them. It's just vanilla football. Doesn't mean anything. Then, mini camps, OTAs, the offseason has been cut down dramatically from the 90s, early 2000s when we used to have a lot of off-season practices. You can't hit anybody the way you used to anymore. I understand. The league has really got to put an emphasis on player health and safety, which I understand. I'm just sitting there going, well, damn, what can we do in the game of football now? What do people want? What exactly is it that you do want? Because we complain about everything. We cut down so many things in the game of football to where now it's just like, people expect that this game can be played at the level that it's played at. If players just show up on Sunday, that's it. That's not how it goes. That's not how it works. That's not how football is played. That's not how teams are built. And I just think we need to kind of pump the brakes on all this. We need to stop that. We need to cut out this. We need to take care of that.